What is up, Watch fam, and welcome to Rant&h. Today I'm actually going to be asking a lot more questions than I'm going to be giving answers. Swatch announced their Irony watch, and it's ironic because the least threatening watch in the watch industry is now becoming the most threatening watch in the watch industry. What started off as a playful plastic toy is now becoming a huge impending doom for a lot of companies. Let's talk about what we think is entry level for a second. To us, entry level has two different kind of levels, right? It depends on what direction we're going in. Entry level, as far as in the know, is Orient, right? It's Squale. It's watches that are sub $1,000 that do pack a lot of punch, right? By no means are they decorated, by no means are they impressive, but they look nice. And they're automatic or they're mechanical, and they do help us get addicted or interested or started in the watch habit, right? Because they do offer such, they offer the principles of watchmaking at a lower cost. And still, we're talking about $300, $400, $500, $600. And we like those companies because they're for us, right? You're not mass market. They're kind of boutique brands, right? That we can appreciate on YouTube and that we appreciate on our wrists, but really most people don't know that. Most people jump from Fossil and then strive for Rolex, right? And the Rolex Omega, things like that. And those companies, the Rolexes and the Omegas, are already seeing a disaster. I'm not wearing a watch right now. They're already seeing massive declines in watch sales, something like 31% in precious metals, 16% in regular steel. So they're already having a bad time. Enter Swatch, right, which introduced Sistem51 and now introduced it in steel. And their introduction of it in steel to me says, remember that cute thing that we made? Yeah, now it's actually going to be a real thing. And it's no longer going to be a little boutique item or a little novelty item that some of you bought and put in cases, right, and saved as possible investments, because for $120, what the hell matters, right? And in steel, it's important because not only is it symbolic, but of the progression of this line, but it is more durable. People are going to take Swatch a little bit more seriously in steel. They're going to take the Sistem51 like a watch they can actually wear to work and not feel awkward about. And most watch geeks would even wear a plastic Sistem51 to work, but the mass market wouldn't necessarily. They may only do steel. But now, how many interns, how many high schoolers, how many college kids, instead of opting for a Tissot, are going to save a couple $100 and go with a steel Swatch? This is, to me, their next step in the evolution of how they intend on changing the mass market of watches. And I made a video not too long ago about Michael Kors. And I made a video basically saying that, you guys can watch it. It's on YouTube. It's Why I Respect Michael Kors. I think it's the title. Link in bio. And the whole idea was, I respect Michael Kors because they are filling a hole in a market that other larger companies that should fill aren't. Or, they're not checking that box. They're not appealing to people who maybe are interested in watches and style, but are definitely on a budget. They only want to spend $100, $200, $300 at most. And massive companies, the massive, industry, fundamental people, are ignoring that market. And then Michael Kors is servicing it, but now Swatch may be servicing it because Swatch's, designs, and Anna, please put up, photos of their new Irony, collection. They're cool looking and they're fun and they're a little bit, not mysterious, but they're a little bit abstract and kind of obscure. And they're very, very Swatch still. They're still very, design centric, but they're actually trying to go mechanical seriously, which is not necessarily scary for the Sistem51. But I'm a genuine believer in, the company that is smart enough to own the market at 200 could own that clientele and own their attention into 500, into 1500, into 2100, and continue owning them. So I think that Swatch, although they're suffering massive, massive, massive losses, this is their best shot, in my opinion. This is their moonshot, put it that way. This is the opportunity that Swatch has, not the servicing bullshit, not the, micromanaging things in the behind the scenes, industry. But the Sistem51 to me represents Swatch's biggest opportunity that's currently on the market to really destroy a lot of companies that we grew up knowing and loving. And I'm fine with that. And I genuinely think that, the company that, is best can survive and should survive. But in 2016, Swatch introduces the steel Sistem51, an automatic movement that people will associate with expensive because it's automatic and mechanical for a small amount of money. Fast forward 2 years, And Swatch is no longer the cheap company that introduced this mechanical watch. Swatch is now the mechanical watch for the mass market. Fast forward 4 more years, and those people that could afford $200 System 51s in the beginning now have a little bit of a budget, and now could possibly spend more money, and now could possibly spend $800, $1,500, like I said before. So Swatch is really attempting to own the market here. You know, it's funny, it's a little anecdotal, but if you ask a layperson, if you ask someone that's not interested in watches, someone that just kind of knows the vague idea of what a watch is, the fact that Rolex exists, you know, what makes a Rolex, they're going to tell you that Rolex sweeps. Right, Rolex doesn't tick, and of course it's not true, but the idea that I'm trying to, prove here is that most people associate sweeping seconds with Rolex, and associate Rolex with being expensive. And they don't know that it's automatic, they don't know it's manual, they don't know it's mechanical, but they know sweeping is expensive. So Swatch is offering sweeping, this expensive idea, for $200, and they're going to really eat up a massive part of the market, at least as I see it. And that is going to really poise them for a really interesting 5-10 years, 10-year period down the road. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how other companies are going to react. I don't know if other companies are going to invest in that market. I really have no idea what Swatch has in their back pocket in the next 5-10 years. But I think that this introduction of the System 51 is their way of kind of saying things might be bad right now, and things may have been bad in the last couple of years. But remember that Trojan horse that you guys let in? That little plastic, non-threatening, adorable watch that kind of represented, innovation? Now that it was introduced, 2 years later, it's steel. 4 years later, our line gets bigger. 5 years after that, now we're in $1,500 range. So my thoughts aren't necessarily coherent on this matter. I don't really know what's going on. But I am saying that Swatch, and I'm sure they're not answering me directly because they've had this plan for much longer than I have. But Swatch is trying to appeal to a mass market here. They're trying to steal from Michael Kors. They're trying to exterminate Fossil, Shinola, things like that. I think that Swatch genuinely has the potential and the intent to own $100 to $500, that market, in the next couple of years. And they don't own it right now, but I think they have, and they can again. And it's not going to affect the small niche companies immediately, because if you're a Sin customer, you're always going to like Sin. You're going to continue liking Sin. If you are a Stoa customer, you're not going to switch for a Swatch. You may add a Swatch to your collection. You're not going to switch over. But I think it's a real danger to Seiko, Citizen, Fossil. Basically, I don't even want to name them all. Longines, Hamilton. I think that Swatch is a genuine danger to a lot of the low-end watch industry as we know it in the short term, and a lot of the higher-end watch industry as we know it in the long term. Is it impending doom? Is it the end of the world? No, it's not, but it's definitely, possibly, the first sign of a very, very, very strong shift in the industry. If the System 51 takes off, and Swatch does what they want, and they own the market in the next 5 years, they're not just going to take that money and invest back into their watch, not just back into their System 51, but Swatch as a company is going to be stronger, and then Swatch can take on the other companies even more so. They can exterminate the companies that they knew weren't doing well, the companies that were putting them in this bad situation to begin with. They may slim down companies like Breguet, they may slim down a lot of their other investments, but they really do represent a danger to non-Swatch companies because of this small dollar, large market investment now. Swatch has poisoned themselves for an attack, guys, and I really dig it. And it does scare me a little bit because I don't know what's going to happen. I kind of was always a little bit nervous. But I do respect Swatch. I think that we should pay attention to this really closely and what happens in the next couple of years. I think that if we start seeing swatches on Instagram, that's the next step. There's going to be a hell of a story to be written here, guys. I hope that they attack social media like I've been recommending companies do, because if they do, I think they'll fare really, really well. Swatch is a fun brand. Swatch is a brand that you can really enjoy wearing and also now kind of feel like a watch insider by wearing with the automatic movements. System 51 is dangerous. That's it. Thank you guys for watching Rant&h. I know I didn't provide too many answers today, but I think that I raised some really good topics for us to think about more and to think about the future of this industry on the low, what the inexpensive mass market means to the larger companies, to the expensive watch industry, because they are directly related. So keep thinking about it, guys.